to have you join us on another exciting episode of Art House. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Coming up today, a prototype of what is expected in the Edo Museum of West African Arts, EMOWA, is revealed during a mini exhibition. To the nation's capital, where this artist is encouraging us to be bold and confident as she wears herself by unveiling her many talents. Then we return to Lagos to see Area Art, a solo exhibition by a contemporary artist who is showing us the things we sometimes take for granted. From our lineup, you can tell we have a loaded edition of the program, but we're still celebrating fatherhood with our wordsmith for this week.
Our wordsmith for today is titled Fatherhood by Daniel Ilo. The joy of fatherhood. An innocent baby, then a playful, joyful boy, a joyful boy, then a tense youth, then a mature man, a matured man, then a loving husband, then a caring father. Thus goes his journey through the dark world, always kept in the rat race to fight, seeking the treasure that makes him manly, ceaseless running till hours turn to days, like an athlete running for the gold. The child soldier, his hero, the woman's lover, her guard, celebrate his celibacy from trauma. When the world as a ferocious lion roars, he still keeps his mind like a dove.
We keep honoring the men in our lives as we acknowledge all their labor and sacrifices. Thank you, Daniel, for that reminder. Now to our first feature. Area Art is a solo exhibition by a contemporary artist at the Core Gallery in Lagos, where he reveals his unique technique in a very unconventional way.
The body of work on display by Demola Ogunajo, a graduate of painting from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife in Osun State, is not the conventional type, as this artist turns influences from his environment into creative images, a concept he's been working on for years for his fourth solo art show.
This exhibition, I call it Area Art. It's a celebration of what we have, celebration of things that abound around us that is pedestrian. We don't give much thought towards it, but they are valuable elements which can contribute a whole lot to our culture.
This is a solo exhibition of a Nigerian artist named Demola Ogunajo. He has been working on this project over the last decade, and it's influenced by street signs and symbols and stickers that he sees around the streets in Lagos, stickers that are on buses and trucks and signs on the walls.
The aesthetic symbols used on vehicles and motorcycles in his recent work at the KO Gallery in Lagos is just part of his way of exploring the objects in popular culture.
He's looking at how the images of popular culture speak to larger notions about humanity. It's exciting to see his work just at first glance. It's, very colorful, pop art oriented, and it's, you see things that are very recognizable, things you see on the streets every day, but then you see it in a new way. And I think that's what's exciting, is you see these ordinary situations, but you see them in extraordinary scenarios.
When I got into this room and I saw Barney on one of the canvases, and I saw the 9/11, which is common among us, which has very beautiful colors like the one right behind me, and with the write-up, the fonts, which I can connect with because I also feel this is part of our life, this is part of our culture, and right behind me, that's my favorite piece. But there's another piece in the major gallery that also has a couple of inscriptions I like, and the ones with the cartoon characters are also pretty cool.
The attraction for the gallery is the way this contemporary artist is able to infuse these local signs, symbols, and stickers to become art.
I think his work is unique is the way he tells metaphors and he tells stories that really go a lot deeper than what you first look at. So when you're first looking at something that might look like a cartoon and lighthearted, it really talks about the fight between good and evil and about religious and spiritual ideas. And so he really looks at larger notions of how we live, together.
Over the years, the artist has learned to improvise with different styles and techniques, as well as think outside the box in order to bring about some freshness to his work of art.
Interesting works of art there. Now from Lagos, we move to Benin, the Edo State capital. The prototype of a museum where the world will see original artifacts which have been returned to the country has been unveiled during a mini exhibition. It's called the Edo Museum of West African Arts, EMOWA.
Several sculptural pieces and pictures are displayed on the sidelines of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments 2021 annual retreat at the Festival Hall, Edo Government House in Benin City, the state capital. Is preparing the team for what to expect when the Edo Museum of West African Arts, a new complex which will showcase Benin returned artifacts, is finally built. An idea of how it will look like is showcased to the governor, host governor Godwin Obaseki, in pictures which is part of this mini exhibition.
National Commission for Museums and Monuments is the driver, in the country in the issue of repatriation of our artifacts that has been taken away from the country. And we thank God we are making headway because this issue of repatriation came up in the 70s during Ekpo Eyo's time. It didn't go anywhere. So now, countries like Germany have come forward to say that they are going to repatriate all the artifacts in their possession back to Nigeria. So it's a good opportunity for us to get our objects back and display them here for our people, for Nigeria, for Edo people to see and appreciate. This year we are having the retreat here in Benin City, Edo State, and it's timely because this issue of repatriation is there, and we are talking about infrastructure and resource. So the issue of this new EMOWA museum is also very important, and it's good for our curators across the country to be here in Benin City, Edo, for His Excellency to educate us, to inform us how this Emoa Museum is going to come up and how NCMM is also keen into this project and how our curators will also contribute and participate in this. So this is really a great opportunity for us to create awareness among our curators, but also to reassure them that with the coming of this new museum, there will be capacity building for them to understand and learn how we can live up to this international best practice now.
The state government has discussed with many foreign institutions on the return of Benin artifacts sited in museums across the world, this in collaboration with the federal government, and the Royal Palace will ensure that the prized assets have a befitting new home.
The federal government has been quite gracious because in the past, conversations about return of works is usually between government to government, one national to the other. In this case, because of the local interests and because of the history and the importance of these works, we're able to persuade the federal government that we should have this transparent and open structure, which will be more appealing to the outside world, and to allow the state government and the Royal Palace to be on the table, on the discussion table, when these conversations and meetings are being held, and so that whatever our inputs can be, heard. Like I say, you can't shave a man's head in his absence. And they've been quite gracious to get us all, to agree, accept that we should have the Legacy Restoration Trust, where everybody will be involved. And that is the body that will now discuss and have the meetings to understand all the intricacies and also make their own suggestions.
Emoa is a museum where the world will see the rich and regal artifacts which used to adorn foreign museums. It'll be part of the National Museum complex with many other buildings which will handle different aspects with proper documentation for accountability and a place for research center for more knowledge about Edo art and culture.
And these are the works of art you sent in this week. Let's begin with this collage painting by Theophilus Agunwa. He calls it Zero Paint. Then Tevin Anada says, "Let there be light," with this graphite pencil on paperwork. Augustine Benjamin is showing us time and survival with his ball pen on paperwork. Then Tosin Oyeni is looking into the future using a technique he calls offset ink on paper. Oluwaseyi Ayo is showing us the innocence of a child with his charcoal and pen on paperwork. Gideon Adeayo is telling everyone to be proud of their brown skin with this realistic painting. Victor Eyinaya is also showing us innocence, done with charcoal and graphite on paper. Then Owambe series is done by Yomi with fabric and acrylic on canvas. Then Damola Adeyemo is telling us that little children have dreams too. He renders it with acrylic on canvas. Then Undubisi Frank is showing us what it looks like after the rain with this acrylic on canvas work. Those are the works of art you sent in this week. We do encourage you to keep them coming. We take a moment now. When Art House returns, we move to Abuja to enjoy an exhibition and a mini performance by a female artist. Do join us again.
The principles of true art is not to portray, but to evoke, while art picks up where nature ends.
Now I Wear Myself is a solo contemporary art exhibition by a female artist at the Retro Africa Gallery, Abuja. But she gives the audience more than just bold and beautiful paintings. Take a look.
Into our own hands. Why do you wear a mask? To hide? To protect? To pretend?
This event is twofold. The contemporary artist Jacqueline Shawari gives a dance performance on the theme she has painted tagged, "Now I Wear Myself."
Let him shoot, let him shoot. No problem. No problem. Everyone sit down, sit down, sit down.
After that thrilling outdoor experience, they step into the Retro Africa Gallery in Abuja to look at the large works of art displayed by this multi-talented artist.
My drawings, 12 of them. Each of them have like unique style and representations from Nigerian cultural history. And then I did a performance art, and then it's also installation art, all trying to, push the viewer to have this self introspection and find out really what's that thing that kicks about yourself, and find it and then use it to make yourself unique.
Then there's a brief interactive session where the audience get more insight about her passion and the journey that birthed this solo show.
The performance is about being yourself, being able to be yourself, irrespective of the forces that want you to be somebody else.
Her experiences is the inspiration behind these figurative images that try to unmask people's feelings and emotions to reveal a rebirth of self and technique which started at a tender age.
For a lot of artists that I have studied their works, they take it from the point of view of presenting the expression of nature. But her own is a departure in the sense that she's trying to express what she feels personally, interpreting people's moods and bringing her own personal feeling into it. And when she was growing up, we didn't understand that was the basis of her painting until she actually finished university. And we began to converse. I said, "Why are you drawing these things? Like, why are you interested in faces?" And he says, she likes to capture people's expression and see how it relates to her. And people wear a lot of sheets and interpretation of these things are part of what she wants to uncover.
The guests are excited to be in an art space where the appreciation of emotions, expressions, and manifestation of individuals can be seen with attention to detail and standards.
It really is a bold step. The paintings are also bold, larger than life, essentially, all these figures. And the writing, she's taken quite a lot of time to create text to accompany the works and their storylines, and this beautiful narrative about uncovering one's former self to reveal a new self. So I love the title, Now I Wear Myself.
We all know art is a form of expression, and as we can clearly see, she has expressed herself in a very spontaneous way. The details are very immaculately drawn. The pictures are of great quality. And I like to think she could have an insight to true definition of freedom, because you know, freedom of expression and whatnot. So it's really beautiful. I'm intrigued. I hope they also find it intriguing. I hope you too are intrigued.
What I see are strong images and expressions, images that reveal the everyday life. If you look at some of her works, you would notice that it's not like the regular images that you see about maybe landscapes or the rest. These are images that reveal feelings, deep feelings, emotions that we see or experience every day, as also affects our everyday life. You see emotions of love, you see emotions of uncertainty, you see emotions of deep desires, emotions of things that you want to have, and probably the person is lost, probably emotions of even mixed feelings. So you see all these brought together in pieces of art. Somehow she has been able to use different materials to bring these feelings together in art.
They're very beautiful pieces, and the theme is to wear yourself, and I really like the fact that they look unique. They look like, I feel as if they're different from other artworks that I've seen, and you know, I really love art. I'm enthusiastic about art, and these are very beautiful and wonderful pieces.
The idea is to position her art as a source of inspiration to encourage people to be confident and not shy away from their feelings and abilities.
Such a bundle of talent, and we have more variety when you tune in next time.
Coming up on the next edition of the program, we get a scent of Africa as the brilliant Brush Gallery presents a variety of works in their collection. Then, in another part of the commercial city, Adeyinka Akingbade is showing us the state of mind at the Art Pantheon Gallery. For that and more, tune in next time.
Your art house experience doesn't have to end when the show is not on television. Interact with us on our various social media platforms. See any edition of Art House on our website or YouTube page. Join our very interactive Facebook page by joining the group on Art House on Channels. We're everywhere.
That's Art House this week. Thank you so much for being a great part of it. And remember, you can catch up with this and other episodes on our YouTube page. I'm looking forward to sharing more incredible works of art the next time you tune in. I'm Melinda Akinlami, encouraging you to stay safe and keep being creative.